Welcome back, folks. My name's Shane. In today's video, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on the Lumix 24-60mm f2.8 zoom lens. Now, I was lucky enough to fly over to Austin to test this out. Unfortunately, I still have to give this lens back. Now, everyone's heard how great the S1 Mark II is. This 20-60mm f2.8 is a no-brainer if you're thinking about getting one of those cameras, or if you've already got an S9, an S5 Mark II, or X, or any other number of Lumix cameras. I've owned a Sigma 24-70mm f2.8 lens. It was big, it was heavy, and I didn't love it, so I ended up returning it because this wasn't the lens for me. When it comes to the focal length, we've got a 24-60mm lens here, and this allows the lens to be physically smaller, which is a great thing. So it's smaller and lighter than you'll find from Sigma. It's also smaller and lighter than what you'll find from the Lumix S-Series Pro lens, which is a 24-70. Now you're losing 10mm on the tight end, but like they say, take a few steps forward and you'll be in business. So yeah, no problems there when it comes to the focal length. Ideally, I would have loved 20mm on the wide end, maybe even going into 50. I thought that might have been the way they went, but 24-60 is still extremely usable. Whether you're a video shooter or photographer, this lens is really in a class of its own. Now, as someone who owns the 20-60mm kit lens, I actually really love this. It is slightly bigger. We get a different filter thread on the front. It comes in at 77mm as opposed to the 67 found on the kit lens. The kit lens is slightly wider, so I still have a place for that in my heart. It's one of those lenses that I've claimed for a long time. That's my favorite kit lens of all time. I still feel that way. It's fantastic, but this definitely gives you some benefits. So the constant f2.8 aperture means pairing this with a full frame camera, you're going to get excellent low light performance, and whether you're zooming in or not, you get constant f2.8 light. Now the 20-60mm lens, as much as I love it on the wide end, it goes from f3.5 to 5.6 as you zoom. So you won't have that issue with this particular lens. I also prefer using this over the 24-70 S-Series Pro. Now the S-Series Pro lens is fantastic. It's got this clutch here that you can click down into manual focus, and it's a really premium lens when it comes to its optics. But so is this. It's very good. While we don't get the manual focus clutch here, what we do get is an autofocus manual focus switch and the addition of a custom function button, which allows you to map different features to the button so you can turn things on and off without having to go through the menu system. I really love this, and for that reason alone, I would buy this personally over the S-Series Pro now in 2025. Not saying this is a better lens overall than that, but for me, I like small compact lenses. And while this isn't tiny, it's definitely nowhere near as big as a traditional 24-70. While I'm sure there's lenses that are smaller than this for full frame systems out there from different manufacturers, for L mount, there isn't one. This is really great. It comes in at 544 grams, which is really pleasing to use. The focus ring feels great. The zoom ring feels great. And in terms of just how it feels when you're using it on the different camera bodies, I have no problems recommending this. Now, if you're a stickler for the smallest and lightest sort of zoom lens, then the 20-60 will still give you the versatility, but it will also be slightly smaller and lighter. This is about a third larger overall, so you can keep those things in mind. I always say anytime you get a chance to actually test something, whether you're traveling or you're shooting a show or whatever the case may be, it gives you a good opportunity to really understand what the sort of target audience is for this lens. And this would have replaced 3 primes in my bag had I have known this was, on the horizon. I had no idea this lens was coming out until the event itself, and I found out it was a thing, and I was like, I should have left some lenses at home. So yeah, it's a really cool lens when it comes to just being like a one and done travel lens. And if you can live within the limitation of the 24-60mm as opposed to either a 20-60 or a 24-70, then you're going to get a kick out of it. At the time of producing this video, this lens comes in at $900 versus almost $1,800 for the S-Series Pro one. And again, unless you want to get the focus clutch experience and the larger form factor lens design, again, I think this is a much better value lens. The image quality for photography is excellent. It's nice and sharp. You do get some vignetting in the corners, all the way open at f2.8, but it's nice and sharp across the board, and I would have no problems using this for anything that I do on YouTube or anything outside of it as well, from producing something for someone else. This would be a really great one and done lens. Obviously, some of the prime lenses will still give you an advantage when it comes to their speed. This is f2.8 at its widest, whereas the primes at least the ones that I've got, the S series of primes are all f1.8. So if you need the best in low light performance, the primes are still the way to go. But the full frame sensors now are so good that you can pair this at basically any focal length and you're still going to get really clean images. Let's take a look. The colors and contrast look great out of this lens, whether you're shooting in Vlog or using one of the standard picture profiles. The end result looks really great. I had a chance to use this back to back with some of the S series of primes that I had on the trip, and they all matched beautifully. I actually shot a documentary style show at one of the guitar shops using this and the 18mm f1.8 prime. I didn't have to do anything on the timeline in terms of color corrections. They just matched, which was awesome. Let's do a quick comparison now between the 24 to 60mm f2.8 prime at 35mm, so I'm using the zoom lens here in the studio, up against the S series prime at f1.8. Let's switch it over. And now I'm using the regular lens that you see on the channel all of the time in the studio. This is the 35mm f1.8 prime. Let's switch it over. And back to the zoom lens. So the only thing that's changed is the ISO on the camera. The S5 Mark IIX is now at 640 as opposed to like 320 or something like that. But it's very similar, at least looking at the LCD screen here. What I'm going to do is do a quick side-by-side comparison so you can get a good sense of how they compare. If you're someone who's going on vacation, you might be going somewhere sunny or nice or whatever, then both lenses are going to give you excellent results. The biggest difference is how they'll perform in a lower lit situation. If that's important to you, the new one is the way to go. But this 20 to 60 has been one of my favorite lenses now for a very long time. And I don't plan on getting rid of this, even if I end up buying the 24 to 60, which is definitely on the cards for me. Again, if I want a more premium look when it comes to background blur, subject separation, all that kind of stuff, the 24 to 60 will definitely give me those results. f2.8 is fast enough for most situations on full frame. But if you're, say, shooting a landscape or you're doing some travel stuff outdoors, for example, then this kit lens is still going to do an excellent job. But I'm very impressed with this lens. It's definitely something that's on my radar as a wish list item right now. And I think as soon as they're available or I see it come on sale or whatever the case may be, I plan on picking one of these up. It is really cool. Thanks for watching.